Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a unit review video. If you don't know what this is the series where you guys send me your best Genshin Impact units and I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 to determine who has the best Genshin Impact unit. Before we get into that though, if you would like an opportunity to get your own unit reviewed, all you have to do is go to my Discord, link in the description below. There is a channel in the Discord that is titled #UnitReview. In that channel will be instructions on how you can submit your own character for review. With that all wrapped up, let's get into the video. First up here we have Zai, and they wanted me to review their DLuke. Level 90 DLuke, 1800 attack, 105 EM, not too shabby. 20,000 HP, I feel like is a bit much. Might have a couple HP substats, but that's okay. Weapon, Serpent Spine, I believe that is his best low spender slash free to play weapon. Clearly you've bought the battle pass a lot if you have that thing refinement 4, goddamn. Artifacts, 4-piece Crimson Witch, great choice. Constellation, C1, so you haven't lost too many 50-50s. That's what I like to hear. Keep it up. And talents are 9, 10, 10. Just missing that one crown on the normal attack to kind of finish off the crowns for your DLuke, which is a little unfortunate, but I'm sure you are working on it. Obviously with DLuke, you can do whatever you want with all his talents as all of them are useful to his kit, which is nice because there isn't many characters like that in the game. Let's check out some of these artifacts because these are where it's really going to matter. So the feather, not the greatest feather. I guess it does the job. It has some EM. EM can be pretty useful now with everything that Denjo brings to the table, but I think on DLuke, I don't think it's as necessary. So you would really want something like crit rate here instead of that flat defense. But it's not a terrible piece. It sits somewhere in the middle. This is a pretty good piece. Middle two stats are pretty dead, but other than that, you'll take it. This is also a pretty good piece. 2 crit rate, 1 crit damage, 2 attack. That's pretty nice. The crit damage rolls were a little low, but other than that, I'd say it's a pretty good piece. And that is a very nice piece as well. Actually, that's a really good piece. Actually, that's like the perfect Hu Tao piece. Man, if you had Hu Tao instead of DLuke, slap this on her, you literally won't get a better piece. On DLuke though, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. And then the circlet, not the best circlet ever, I'll be honest. 64 flat attack, not great. 9.3 attack, I mean, it's fine, it's fine. You preferably want crit rate, but I guess you have Serpent Spine, so crit rate isn't in demand too much. Let's see. 80, 176, actually you really don't need more crit rate. No, maybe this piece actually isn't that bad, but you'd still probably rather attack percent instead of flat attack in terms of substats. But overall, a very, very well balanced DLuke. You got the Serpent Spine R4, you got nearly a 10, 10, 10, and you have some pretty damn good artifacts besides maybe the feather is a little bit copium. You would probably want to see, I don't know, maybe attack percent crit rate on here. You really don't need all that more crit rate, to be honest. I mean, 80 is pretty good. You have Serpent Spine plus DLuke Ascends with crit rate, I believe. You really don't need all that much more. Maybe just more crit damage on some pieces. Other than that, you are doing perfectly fine, and your DLuke is in a great spot. So I'm going to give your DLuke a solid 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up here, we have Rai, and they wanted me to review their Yoy Mia. Yoy Mia, 90 out of 90. 1900 attack, 65 EM, that's pretty good. You're probably running Rust, or no, Rust would probably have more attack, so you're probably running her signature weapon. Yes, you're running her signature weapon, Thundering Pulse, which is obviously a great choice. We love the Thundering Pulse. Artifacts are 4-piece Crimson, another good choice. I think this is actually currently her quote-unquote best in slot set, but it's different with different builds and whatnot. And it really depends on what team comp you're using her with, but still a good set nonetheless. Constellation 0 and talents are 9, 8, 4. Kind of disappointed to not see the 10, 10, 9 or the 10, 10, 8. You can take this further. The burst isn't that useful, I'll be honest. But, you know, if you're maining Yoy Mia, you still want to take the burst past level 4. Level 4 is a little disrespectful, I'd say, to Yoy Mia. And no crowns handed out yet. That's alright. Let's check on some of these artifacts. So you're running 4-piece Crimson. It's okay. I mean, 13 crit rate, 23 EM. That's a pretty good piece. You got attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. That's a pretty good bonus goblet. That could definitely be a little better. You got crit damage. You're going to have a lot of crit damage if you're on a crit damage hat and Thundering Pulse, so now that I'm thinking about it. But your crit rate's going to be a little low. Oh no, I guess Yoy Mia sends a crit rate, so maybe it'll be okay. But you got 42 EM, 14 ER, no attack percent, unfortunately, which is kind of the best stat for Yoy Mia other than crit rate, crit damage. You don't really need ER as much because from what it seems like, you're not using her burst anyways, so ER isn't as important on a Yoy Mia as one may think. That's a crazy piece. Oh my goodness. That's a nasty piece. That is actually disgusting. How do you have a piece like that? That's nearly 50. It might be 50. No, it's like breaking. It's like 49 or something. Oh my goodness. Your feather and your flower are absolutely disgusting. They're both 5 rollers, I believe, into crit rate, crit damage. That is crazy, actually. Man, for your feather and flower to be so good, and then the hat and the sands to be so unbelievably mid, it's kind of shocking. Let's see your stats. 75 232, that's actually really good. I was honestly gonna say you could use more crit rate, but honestly 75 isn't bad. You can maybe use like a little more on this hat, maybe get some crit damage on this attack sands. Bro, you could get up to like 250 if you had crit damage on your attack sands. You could literally have an 80-250 build if you just got 1 crit rate roll on the hat and then like 2 crit damage rolls on the sands, and then you'd be absolutely cracked. Obviously that might be a bit of a high request, but I think it's still possible with just a little bit of luck. Overall though, a little low on the talents, I won't lie. The burst is a little low. You have a really good weapon, her perfect weapon, some pretty damn good artifacts, so I'm going to give you a solid 8.9 out of 10, taking the 0.1 away for the disrespect on the Yoy Mia burst. Anyways, let's move on to the next unit. Next up, we have an AR60 player with the Xinyan profile and the bio Xinyan best pyro claymore. And that's the unit we're going to be reviewing today. We're in for a ride here, boys. Level 90 Xinyan. Honestly, I feel like Xinyan mains are becoming more and more commonplace. I'm seeing so many of them now. 1800 attack, 1100 defense. You're most definitely running physical DPS Xinyan then. I mean, what else would you use Xinyan for, of course? Damn straight you are. That's physical DPS Xinyan if you're running Red Horn. Oh my goodness. Wonder how good this build's gonna be. Let's see. So we got Red Horn. That's gonna give you 88 crit damage and increase your defense. You got 2-piece Bloodstain, 2-piece Pale Flame. That makes sense. Constellation 6. That's what we like to see. And talents are Triple Crown Xinyan. Okay, so this person is very committed to Xinyan. I'm interested to see what the artifacts are going to be like, because so far, this on talents and weapons alone, this would be a 10 out of 10 Xinyan. I mean, how could you get any better? I'm kind of nervous for the artifacts, though. I'm always a little shaky for them, but on this one more especially than ever, because this person is an AR60 player, so that means they've played this game for years. So they better have some damn good artifacts. The Goblet. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess it's not terrible for Xinyan. For Xinyan, it's pretty good, but I'd say it's a little unoptimal. Crit damage here, obviously over the flat attack. There's no shot this is your best physical damage Goblet. Or maybe it's just best for this build in particular, I don't know. But still, if that's your best physical damage Goblet, oh, that's rough, that's rough. The hat, that's pretty good. That's actually really good. 24 crit damage, 5.8 energy recharge. The HP roll is a little unoptimal, but other than that, it's a really good piece. The sands, 5 crit rate, 32 crit damage, 2 flat stats, which is a little unfortunate, but other than that, it's an absolutely crazy piece. That's actually not that great for an AR60 player, but it's still good. Like 2 attack rolls, 1 crit damage, 1 crit rate. I mean, I'm not complaining. I think it's a good piece. And that's pretty nasty. That's a pretty crazy piece. 2 crit damage, 2 crit rate, 1 energy recharge. That is nearly a god piece. The best piece in this build is probably most definitely the 30 crit damage attack stands. I mean, that's pretty nuts. The feather could definitely use just a tiny bit of work, more crit damage maybe. And then the Goblet, I think the Goblet isn't the greatest thing ever, but you know what? It does the job. It has some defense. Xinyan scales with defense, so you know what? It works. Let's check the stats. 69, very funny. And 228 crit damage, 130 recharge, and 108 physical damage bonus. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know the energy recharge increments for Xinyan, so I don't know how much you need to get her burst back up on cooldown, so I won't really comment on if like 130 is really good or really bad, because honestly, I have no idea. I know Xinyan does scale with defense, so 1000 defense and any other defense stats you can get on these pieces is actually somewhat usable, but I think optimally on probably a physical DPS build, you'd probably want more crit rate, more crit damage, more attack, just overall. But honestly, you've got mostly crit damage, crit rate, attack rolls. You're doing pretty well. I'd say overall, I mean, there's really not much you can improve about this build, other than maybe the sands, maybe the feather, but you're not getting better than this hat probably. And this flower and this sands are pretty perfect. So I'd say overall, this is probably a 9.7 out of 10 Xinyan main. Let's move on to the next unit. Next up here, we have Junes, and they wanted me to review their Venti. They are actually telling me in their bio, look at my Venti build. We will do that. Let's see here. Level 90 Venti. 1800 attack. That is a lot of attack for a Venti, and only 261 EM. Okay, so possible physical DPS Venti or something like that. Ammo's bow. Oh my gosh, it's not physical DPS Venti then. It's probably charge shot Venti. Charge shot Venti is a really funny concept, I can't lie. Can he work like that? I don't know. Artifacts? 2-piece Iridescent, 2-piece Glad? Yeah, you're probably using charge shot Venti. Constellation 0. Talents are 10, 10, 10. Oh my gosh. This person is committed to their Venti. That is crazy. What's the refinement on the ammo bow? Just R1. That's fine. All right. I mean, let's see here. I mean, obviously, the most optimal build for Venti is going to be triple EM, but you're going for more of a DPS Venti build. So we'll at least scope it out and see what you got, because this is kind of interesting, honestly. I don't think I've ever seen this build in my life. The feather, crit rate, crit damage. Yeah, that's a great feather. Really good. Sands, another really good sands. It's EM, which is kind of interesting because I don't think EM is probably optimal for if you're going charge shot Venti. Obviously, it's going to be good when you're using his burst and when you're using his skill. But as for the charge shots, it probably won't help very much, which I imagine you're using the most if you're running a DPS Venti. But it's still really good nonetheless. Sands, ammo damage bonus with 20 crit damage, 56 EM. Not terrible, but it definitely can be improved if you get a little crit rate on there. This piece, a little cope. It's not great. 2 flat defense rolls, 1 crit damage, 1 attack. Not terrible, not great. Sits somewhere in the middle there. And then that's a pretty good flower. That's a really, really good flower. I think that's 2 crit rate rolls and 3 crit damage rolls, but they were all really low rolls, so it's not great in terms of the roll amount, but you got the rolls and that's what matters. The split is going to be 66, 147 with 130 recharge, which is very low for getting Venti's burst back on cooldown. You will not be getting it very fast. And then you got 61 ammo damage bonus. Overall, though, I mean, if you don't care about his burst anyways, the energy recharge doesn't matter. But for charge shot Venti, I mean, how much can this really possibly be doing? I do not know. I have never played this build. I mean, you did 10 his normal attack, so it's got to do a bit. And you got ammo spell. And your split, it's even. It's not great, but you got to keep in mind he's using ammo bow, and Venti doesn't scale with crit rate or crit damage, so it's going to be low regardless. But you're able to get 66, 147 with basically artifacts alone, so that's still pretty good. I'd say overall your Venti is fairly well built. For being interesting and being unique, and not doing what everybody else does with their Venti, triple EM, iridescent, blah, 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 I'm going to give you a 9 out of 10 on the uniqueness scale. Let's move on to the next build. Next up here, we have Mark, and they wanted me to review their Shen. Let's see here. Shen, 3,300 attack. That's pretty good for a Shen. I think mine has around 3,800, but then again, I did get Calamity Queller, so that's probably why. 1,100 defense is a little bit much, though. Let's see the weapon. Primordial Jade Wing and Spear. Not a terrible choice. This is actually a pretty decent weapon for Shen, besides weapons like Engulfing Lightning and Favonius Lance. I think are a tiny bit better because they help get her burst back on cooldown. But this one still gives attacks for Shen's buff, so it's not terrible. Artifacts, 2-piece Shuanama, 2-piece Glad. Great choice. Constellation 0, and talents are 6, 10, 8. The normal attack to level 6 is a little bit odd. You do not need to take Shen's normal attack plus level 1, as far as I know. I don't think it helps very much, but, you know, respect nonetheless. If you want to have the most optimal Shen, you can get her 10, 10, 10 and do whatever you want with her, but, you know, you do you. Artifacts, let's see here. So you're running probably the most optimal set for her in the 2-piece attack, 2-piece attack. I personally run 2-piece recharge because I feel like I need the recharge for her cooldown. And if you're not running Engulfing or Favonius, I think you might need a little bit of recharge, so hoping to see that on some of these pieces. First piece, really good. Really, really good start. 3 crit rate, 28 crit damage, 9 energy recharge, 1 defense roll, unfortunate. Still a great piece. Another really good piece. No recharge on this piece, though. Still good nonetheless. 10 crit rate, 13 crit damage. This piece is a little bit worse than the other two, but it still makes the cut. You got 20 crit damage, 3 crit rate. Not terrible. This piece isn't as good as the other two, but, you know, it does the job. You got some crit rate, you got some crit damage, but preferably you probably want a little bit of energy recharge on there. And then your last piece does have 16 energy recharge, so that's pretty good. And you got some crit damage and crit rate, which you didn't roll into too much, but that's okay because you got a little bit of recharge. So what is your split like? 55, 140 isn't bad for Shen. Your energy recharge is definitely low though. 125, I just don't think cuts it. Maybe if you have cryo supports in there too besides Shenhe and you're running with her with like, I don't know, Ayaka or Ganyu or stuff like that. But I recommend trying to get around 150, 160, I think is a good place to get Shenhe. But your crit ratio is good. And that's a positive. And you're able to do that with 3 attack percent pieces. So that's pretty impressive. You got really good talents. You got pretty good weapon. And you got some damn good artifacts. So I'm going to give you a solid 8 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Our last review for the day is going to be Lily. And they want me to review their Ganyu. Level 90 Ganyu. 2000 attack. In fact, 2021 attack. That year's past. Only 700 defense. That's pretty good. That means you don't have a lot of defense substats. I'm going to say your weapon is probably Ammo's bow if you have such high attack. Nope, it's prototype crescent, but that still makes sense because you got that attack substat there. This is a very good weapon for Ganyu. I'd say probably her best free-to-play weapon. Maybe Yoy, it's a bit of a debate, but overall this is still a very good weapon. You're going to be running the 5-piece Wanderer's Troop. Keep in mind that you can replace one of these pieces if you have another better piece that you can put on your Ganyu. Constellation 1, maybe a slight bit of a whale, or maybe they just got lucky, who knows? And talents are 10, 10, 10. Clearly, you are respecting Ganyu a lot if you got her on that triple crown build. The only thing I would like to see so far is maybe one more refinement for that prototype crescent, and then it would be perfect. But that's okay, I'm sure you're working on it. Let's see some of these pieces. Because 5-piece Wanderer's Troop is interesting. You'd think that they probably have an off-piece somewhere in their build, but you know what? Maybe just all 5 Wanderer's pieces are just that good. Let's see here. The hat? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. 14 crit rate, goddamn. That's a really good piece. Flower? Yeah, another really good piece. 6 crit rate, 9 attack, 25 crit damage. Yeah, that's really good. Feather? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That is a crazy feather. What? How do you get a piece like that? This is the craziest piece I think we've seen this episode. How? That's definitely 50 crit value, plus you have attack on it. Oh my goodness, the only thing that can make this better is energy recharge on the bottom, and then it's the perfect piece. Like, it is the perfect artifact. The sands? That can definitely be improved. I mean, the EM is nice, but I think crit damage is probably a little bit better. I imagine you probably don't need more crit rate, though. Because so far, you've got a lot of crit rate on a lot of these pieces, and I think Ganyu gets 15 crit rate just off the bat. Lastly, the goblet. Yeah, I mean, not bad. This can definitely be improved. These two can definitely be improved. I recommend either using an off-piece for your cryo damage bonus goblet, because I'm not going to lie, 3 of these stats are completely dead. Or you can use it for your sands, maybe get a little more crit rate, maybe get a little more crit damage. I don't know, up to you. I'd say definitely between the two, trying to get a better goblet is definitely the higher priority. Let's check the attributes. What is your split? 45, 233. It's not terrible. I think for an optimal Ganyu, you'd probably want 60 or 50. Just to get, because you get the plus 15, which brings you up to 60, which isn't bad. But if you got it even higher, you could have like a 70, 230. So that could be even better. Energy recharge, I think the slightest bit low, but I don't know how much Ganyu's burst costs. I think it's relatively low. So 116, I think it does the job. And 46 cryo damage bonus, plus 143 EM to top it off. Very, very solid Ganyu. I'm going to say your Ganyu is at least a 9.4 out of 10. And with that, we are going to end the episode here for today. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing or leaving a like down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.